Took me 30 minutes just to learn those few steps. I ain't doing that whole dance. Peacemaker has now wrapped up its first season with a pretty epic finale and a really huge surprise cameos. That's cameos plural. And I had a ton of you guys requesting me to talk about some Peacemaker, so that's what I'll be doing here for you guys, is giving you my thoughts and rundown of what I thought of season 1 of Peacemaker on HBO Max. This will contain spoilers for the entire season 1, so if you have not seen it, or specifically the finale, because that's probably where I'll be talking about the most, I suggest you go ahead and do so. If you want my honest thoughts, it's a good show. It's a fun watch. You'll definitely probably enjoy it. So with that said, I gotta be honest, when they first announced this Peacemaker show, I was one of the people that I was like, really? Out of everybody in DC's lineup, you're gonna give them the show? But I mean, you have John Cena and James Gunn attached writing and directing. I pretty much like a lot of the stuff James Gunn makes, all the way back to the Scooby-Doo movies. But then I faced another dilemma when I actually finally watched James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and I was like, yo, Peacemaker's cool, but he's a bit of an a-hole here. How am I supposed to watch an entire show about him? But that goes to show you the magic and beauty with these HBO Max shows, because it completely won me over. We're in a new era of Hollywood now, where every time there's a big blockbuster movie, there has to be branched out. A little live-action show for your streaming service. It's happening everywhere with Disney and their Marvel shows on Disney+. This isn't going to be the last HBO Max spin-off show from the DC universe. Heck, even Paramount jumped into this game and they announced a live-action Sonic series for their streaming service. So this is the future where everything's headed, and it's not just like your basic show. They throw movie money at these shows. That's one thing I gotta praise Peacemaker. Nothing about the visual effects really ran off to me as cheap. You know, we've all had that moment where we've been stuck on a CW show. Right now I'm watching Superman and Lois, waiting for it to get bad. It always seems to happen with the CW shows, but right now I'm liking it. But there is definitely a big difference between the CGI in that show and the CGI you're provided here in Peacemaker. I also did not think I was gonna give any care in the world for these newer characters that Peacemaker was going to surround himself by, especially when you throw in people like Amanda Waller's daughter or this character Vigilante that at the very beginning was like, this guy just a rip-off Deadpool, is that what they're going for here? But before I knew it, I grew to really like these guys and the relationships they were having with Peacemaker. Getting back to what I was saying, that I wasn't sure if I was going to like Peacemaker since I grew to dislike him in Suicide Squad, the dark themes that James Gunn threw in here with the backstory involving Peacemaker, especially involving the relationship with his father, that is one effed up relationship. It didn't make me forgive the actions that Peacemaker made in Suicide Squad, but it definitely put me in a different point of view where I was willing to kind of sympathize with him and follow him on this tragic journey. I thought that whole subplot about his father being the White Dragon, and even the way he has this like little small lair that goes huge in their house, all felt very comic booky and welcome. And I guess speaking of comic booky, James Gunn also took the opportunity for Peacemaker to kind of evolve the world a little bit of the DC universe. Every other episode, it feels like Peacemaker has some wild story about a different hero out there, confirming ones we didn't even know existed, like Batmite, Kite Man. It's stuff like that that helps connect the world a little better than they have been doing in their movie side of things. Plus, it was kind of nice to see just a full rated R version of the DCEU. Sure, we got that in the Suicide Squad, but this felt like a whole nother level. Full on nudity, KKK members, sometimes both of them at the same time. Along with that, Peacemaker also did something that sometimes these Marvel shows are struggling to do on Disney+, and that is really tell your story in a very natural way and sticking the landing of the ending. One thing that kind of bugs me about the Disney Plus series is it feels like every episode is kind of like filler, just little character development, then exciting things in the last 5 minutes, a little post-credit for something in the next episode, and the cycle just repeats and everything turns out being just a setup for another season or a movie. And that formula with Disney Plus is growing very thin on me, especially when it seems like the big thing they lead up to is just a costume change by the end of the season. With Peacemaker, there was definitely a lot of great surprises along the way that kept you wondering what was going on, but it never felt like they were just dangling the carrot in your face going, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, oh, last 2 minutes of the final episode, there you go, and now we're done. And if they can continue to be able to give that form of storytelling in their other HBO Max series they have coming up, I'm gonna be really happy with these spin-off shows. But specifically onto this finale that was really bonkers here. So the whole point of this season is there's this alien invasion with the butterflies, and Peacemaker and his gang have found the cow, essentially their food source to keep them alive, and they need to destroy this cow to basically rid the world of these butterflies. Again, the cow design in the CGI there, really well done, did not feel cheap at all, and then and just the whole massacre of these butterfly aliens and how every member of the team got a little moment to shine. It's very satisfying stuff, even if there was like a few things in this finale where I was like, seriously, you're doing this? Like, how does freaking Diebeard break his leg and then crawls like, I don't know, half a mile in 5 seconds? Or the way they purposely try to limit their budget a little bit by getting rid of the anti-gravity Peacemaker helmet. But the big topic of conversation that I definitely want to throw my 2 cents on is the appearance of, spoilers, the Justice League. James Gunn freaking did it and had a cameo of the Justice League popping up. Now, the only real members we actually got to see are Jason Momoa'S Aquaman and Ezra Miller's The Flash. The other 2 members, Wonder Woman and Superman, are kind of just there in shadows, and that's obviously because they couldn't get the actors to be on there. Man, this is the second time Warner Brothers throws in a cameo of Superman without actually showing Henry Cavill's Superman. But this has already become such an exhausting debate online that I'm like, damn, DC fans just can't enjoy anything. I've always wanted a situation like this to happen. I thought it was actually going to happen in the Suicide Squad movie, that the Justice League might have popped up. So it was funny to me to see them come in late. And while I admit maybe that Aquaman effing fish joke didn't completely land for everybody, I thought the little back and forth between the Flash and Aquaman worked, because we saw that same kind of back and forth in Zack Snyder's Justice League. There are a couple of guys who bag on each other and have fun, and for anyone confused, no, Aquaman is not really effing fishes. It was just a joke, and Barry was just trying to be funny with him. So people are upset with that and think that joke is out of line. The other thing people are complaining about is, why was Batman and Cyborg not there? Look, Batman and Cyborg not being there feels a lot more like a Warner Brothers studio decision than James Gunn. I bet you James Gunn wanted that entire Justice League there. But we can't deny the behind-the-scenes drama that has lately been going on with these specific heroes, and I'm not saying it's right. It sucks that because Ray Fisher spoke out his truth and experience on the set of Justice League and shed a light on some of the wrongdoings by Warner Brothers, they now have just shunned the character of Cyborg because they don't want to remind anybody that that happened in their background. And with Ben Affleck's Batman, we've been hearing for the longest time, Ben has said he's done wanting to play that character. He's no longer interested, so it didn't seem like Warner Brothers wanted to go ahead and throw in Batman in there, especially when they got Robert Pattinson's coming and Michael Keaton's in another movie. The real thing people should be talking about is we constantly hear over and over that Henry Cavill is done, that they're erasing Henry Cavill, that he's not coming in. But the fact that they went ahead and at least showed the shadow of Henry Cavill's Superman, I think should be a little silver lining of light that possibly he's not being erased like we've been hearing, and there's potential they might use him in a future movie or project. Or else why wouldn't they just not include him like they did Cyborg and Batman? But even with my opinion being said and explaining myself, there's people who've already made up their minds and just hated this situation. I think it's just kind of sad that we can see the Justice League as a cameo and people will get mad at that. In the end, Peacemaker proved to me that Warner Brothers has a lot of juice in the tank, can do exciting things with other characters that might not be super mainstream. They have confirmed season 2 is coming, so I'm definitely going to be watching that. But this is where I throw it off to you guys. I want to know from you, if you watched the full season of Peacemaker, what did you make of it? What did you think of that finale and that reveal of the Justice League? Really curious to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.